Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. And in this video, we are going to build a custom stock market newsfeed. We'll be extracting data from all the news websites, stock market websites. We will have that corpus of textual headlines, and then we'll extract important entities, look them up on an external database, and get all the market price data for those trending stocks, for those buzzing stocks. So this newsfeed would actually contain all the trending stock market information and all the market price data from the Yahoo Finance library. So this is a common application of information retrieval, named entity recognition. We'll be using natural language processing, the Displacy library. We'll be using their pre-trained language models to extract the important entities out of those headlines, and then we'll look them up on an external database, which is Nifty 500 companies, and from there we will extract all the market price data from Yahoo Finance. Again, a very common and interesting use case of NLP and Streamlit web application building tool. So without any further ado, let's get started, take inspiration from this application and apply it across different domains.
Alright, so whenever I start off any project, I basically play around with the libraries that I am going to use, and I look around the data set, what all possibilities I have, and then I move on to coding it. First of all, I'll write down some documentation and things like that. So first of all, let's quickly change the title of this notebook. Let's give it a name, newsfeed buzzing stocks. All right, the title is changed. For this particular notebook, I would be playing around with some textual data, and then I'll use the Displacy library to extract the entities out of the textual data. Which textual data, what all libraries, what all models I'll use. So let's get down to it. I'll write some documentation over here. Let me add a textual cell, move it to the top, edit it, and let me give it a name. So this is newsfeed buzzing stocks. This is our title, and what are we going to cover? Let's create a list as well. First of all, I'll import the required libraries. So here I am basically talking about the Displacy library, pandas to read CSV files. There'll be some CSV files later on, and I would be using requests package to send get request to get some data, and I would be using beautiful soup to parse through my XML data, because I'm going to play around with some RSS feeds and they come in XML, and some other libraries. So we'll just keep jotting them down over here, and we'd use Streamlit in our VS Code, so we'll import it there. Then the second thing that we would do is extract the data from the RSS feed links. So I'll show you which all feeds I'm going to use. And then the third thing that we are going to do is we are going to process our data. So we'll look into the Displacy library, and the Displacy library is NLP Pipeline to process our extracted textual data. All right, that's third. Then we'll have some understanding by now that we have processed our NLP data, what are entities that we have got, and then we'll look into NEL. So this part right here, this is basically called named entity recognition, NER, and then we would move on to NEL, which is named entity linking. Whatever entities that we will extract out of the third step, we will actually link it with some external database. It's basically a Nifty 500 companies list. So we are basically trying to build a financial news feed. So this is named entity linking, and we'll link it. Then we will extract the stocks, or the publicly traded companies data using the Yahoo Finance data. So sorry, the Yahoo Finance library. So here what I'm going to do is extract the data of these entities, which are basically publicly traded companies using Yahoo Finance library. All right, so this is basically what we're going to do today, and then we'll create an application out of it. I use Google Colab just to check out a few things. So as soon as I get a picture of, all right, now I'd be able to develop an application out of it. I move on to Visual Studio Code. So we'll come over here as soon as we have a good understanding of what we are trying to build over here, or if I'm actually making sense of something. All right, so import Displacy, then I need pandas as PD, then I would need requests package to get my data first of all, and yeah, is there anything else? Yeah, BS4. This is for beautiful soup. From BS4 we need to have beautiful soup, and we would also need to install Yahoo Finance. It's not already available in Colab, so you'll have to do that. As soon as I run it, you'll see my server is starting. So Google Colab will actually allocate some CPU, some compute power to us. And let's look at what all RSS feeds I'm going to use. So Economic Times. All right, so this is the link basically. Yeah, so this gives you Alright, so they give you a lot of different types of RSS feeds, and the one that I am going to use is basically the markets. Yeah, this is the one that we are going to use, the markets feed, and they give you a lot of different types of information. As you can see, this kind of looks like HTML, but this is actually an XML file, as you can see over here, and the structure looks interesting. So we are going to extract these titles. The titles give you these headings. So we are basically interested in this textual data that's present inside these title tags. So all set for global bond index, HDFC Bank to raise up to 5,000 crore via infra bond. So you see all of these trending news are coming up. So we need to have a personal or custom news feed so that you can say all of this information can be jammed up and displayed in just one screen. One other feed that you can look at is this money controls buzzing stock XML file. So yeah, when I am actually developing an application, I can provide a feature, whereas if you have like any RSS feed link that you want to use in order to extract information, you would be able to put it directly into that web application, and it'll get the those stocks and the right information for you, and you will have the list of stocks appended to the information that you need, or to the main page. Let's go back to the Google Collaboratory, and from here I am going to copy this link. So let's do that. And yeah, first things, we have imported the request package. This has run successfully. All the packages are with me. So let's quickly send a request. So request.get. Now I need to extract all of this information. So I need to get this XML into a response object first. So I'm using the request package for that. I'll send a get request over this link, the one that I've just copied. So if you pass it over here, and you look at the response object, so it gives you different sort of HTTP codes. So if there is any error, then it would give you 404 that is not found if the link is wrong or if the link is invalid, and it'll give you 500 if the server is not working, those kind of things. But here it is 200, so that means the request has been successful. We've got the response object now, and now we can start playing with this. So at this point, we would actually create a soup out of it. We're using beautiful soup. So let's do that. We'll pass this response object to this, and out of this response object, I would extract the content. Also, if you want to play around with this response object, you can do a bunch of things. you can do resp.text. So this gives you the entire text, whatever is present inside this response. If you look at the content, you can do that as well. So this will basically the content of your response. So this is what we are passing to this soup as well. So resp.content, and this is basically an XML file. So features is XML, or you can pass LXML as well, and this will create a soup. Now if you look at the soup over here, all right, so it has basically identified everything. Now you can play around with the soup, you can find out all sorts of titles. So it kind of creates a dictionary, and if you want to learn more about how beautiful soup works, you can look at their documentation. It is pretty self-explanatory, and you'll get a really good understanding of how beautiful soup works, and how it gets you all of the elements present in your HTML or XML. So yeah, from this entire document I need to extract these titles. So if I do, let's say, headlines, I need to capture all the headlines, right? So I'm making it a variable. From the soup, find all title. So this will give me all the title tags. All right, let's run it. And now in the next cell, I am looking at headlines now. So if you run this, you get a list of, this is a Python list of all the title tags if you see. So markets, Economic Times, IPO bound, Paytm employees add 5.45 lakhs more shares, those sort of things. And you have a list of all the headings in just one variable using just this much of code. So in 2 lines, you have got all of your textual data, and now we can process each of these headlines, get the data out of it. Now the processing, this is where we basically talk about the second step, which is what we wrote over here. After extracting the data, we are going to talk about NER, which is named entity recognition, and we're going to use the Displacy library for that. Now, how does it work? What is Displacy? Let's talk about that a little bit. Let's head over to their documentation page. So Displacy API. All right. Displacy is basically an open source natural language processing library that processes textual data at a super fast speed. Now it's the leading library in NLP, and before that it was I think NLTK, Natural Language Toolkit, and now Displacy has taken the lead, has taken the charge in the market. And it's being used in enterprise grade applications at scale. It's well known for scaling well for different sort of problems, and it supports more than 64 languages and works well with both TensorFlow and PyTorch. Now, talking about the kind of processing that we have to do for named entity recognition and different other things that we are talking about. All right, so these are the models that we're going to use. So Displacy provides basically 2 types of models. These are all language models, pre-trained model on a large corpus of data. Now there are 2 types of models. First one is the core models, as you can see in the name as well. English core, web small, web medium, web large, web TRF. So TRF is basically for Roberta based. So this is a transformer based model, and these are the models that they offer. And the second one is the starter models. The starter models are basically for niche applications. They have learned weights, and we can use them to fine tune our custom models without having to train the model from scratch. So we'll talk about starter models in some other video, but here we're going to use one of these basic models, the core models that we talk about. These are all pre-trained, and we're going to use this English core web SM, and you'll have to install it. They have given you this command over here as well. If you're doing this in your local machine, you'll have to first run this command. You'll have to download this model, and then it'll start working in your script. And this is how you do it. They have given it in the documentation. NLP is Displacy.load English core web SM. All right, so Yeah, let's just copy that and move on to our notebook over here. So thing is, we copy this, and now after this we have our NLP pipeline ready. So what does this model actually give us? It's an English pipeline optimized for CPU, and there are different components. This is tokenization, this is tagging, this is dependency parsing center, and each of them have a meaning. So the entire corpus of data, the textual data, needs to be first broken down into different tokens. Then it needs to be tagged. So every part of the speech or every part of the sentence needs to be tagged with some metadata so that we get some context, or the machine learning, gets some context. Then we have parser, which basically creates a graph of how each of these entities or each of those tags are actually related to each other. And if you look at these label schemes, so tagger, you can see where there are different sort of tags that are there. Let's move on and use this NLP, the model that we have just loaded. So the first thing that we need to do is pass one of the headlines. So we'll work with one headline at the moment. There are like a bunch of these. So if I, let's say, do processed underscore headline, and we need to do that by, we have this NLP model instantiated. It's all loaded. We can now pass the text to this NLP pipeline. So here I'm going to do headlines, and I'm going to capture, let's say, third one. All right, or let's say fourth one. So index 4, and I need to capture the text. Here it's in between these title tags. So if you want to get just the middle part, the content, you can use the text attribute for that. So I'll pass this text to my NLP pipeline. Then let's print first of all what is headlines 4. All right, and then next thing I want to do is for token in processed underscore hline, and here inside this I need to print everything. So token.text, first of all I need to print all the tokens. So here these are all the tokens in my heading, and you can see this is the heading that we have, HDFC Bank to raise up to 5,000 crores via infra bonds. So this is the first thing. The next thing is, let's say, for token. So as I told you, there are different components. So first of all, we have the tokenization process that goes under, and then we have a tagger. So in order to look at the different tags, what we need to do is we can simply copy this part over here, or just make the changes here itself. So I have the token here. Then let's add some separator. These are 3 dashes that I've added, and then you can do token.pos underscore. So this attribute is going to give you all the tags corresponding to each token. So POS tagging basically adds some metadata to each token. So if you run this, you can see HDFC, this is a proper noun, bank is a proper noun, to is a part, raise is a verb. So you see adverb, noun, pronoun, parts of speech have been tagged. And then let's copy this and paste it over here. Now the next part, if you look at the Displacy model, we have the dependency parsing. Now this will add the relationship. This will establish the relationship between each of these tokens. Now to look at these tokens, we can, let's do POS underscore, then let's add another separator, token.dep underscore. So this is your dependency parsing. So this is the attribute that you can use to look at the relationship. So this will basically add labels to each of these tokens to understand the relationship, and we can also visualize how that knowledge graph, or that the relationship graph, is generated by the parser, the dependency parser. So we have HDFC, proper noun, compound. This is compound. This is simple. End subject is nominal subject. Then we have auxiliary. We have a root as none, particle, prepositional modifier. All these are the meanings of each of these labels in the dependency. Similarly, if you want to understand the meaning of POS labels, you can do that as well. So that'll give you the meaning of these tags: proper noun, particle, verb, adverb, adposition, so on and so forth. All right, and if you want to understand what all steps are involved, you can basically look at the overview of all of these models, and you have package naming conventions over here, package versioning, trained pipeline design. So this is the pipeline design as I talked about. So first of all, the tokenization process happens, then the tagging adds some metadata to each of those tokens. Parser is basically to add relationship between or among those tokens. Then we have attribute ruler, lemmatizer, that'll give you the basic word, the root or in its basic form. And then we have named entity recognition, which is what we are going to use. So this is what happens behind the scenes. Now let's come back over here. So we've seen how each of these processes are happening. We've seen different sort of labels. Now what we can do is we can actually visualize these relationships as well using the Displacy visualizer. So here we're going to use Displacy dot render, and to this we can pass any sort of processed data. So processed headline, I'm going to pass this processed headline itself. And the next thing that I want to do is pass the style. So style could have anything. So you can pass the tags to it, or you can pass the entities, or you can pass the dependencies to it. So I'll pass the dependencies at the moment just to look at the graph that dependency parser has generated for us. Then I'll add Jupyter equals true. And the next thing that I want to do is you can add some styling options. So here I will add options equal to a dictionary, where my distance, you can adjust the distance here. Distance is 120 if you run this over here. So here you go. The entire sentence is first broken down into tokens, HDFC Bank to raise up to, you can see these tokens, and you can also see the relationship between each, or you can say any two tokens or any three tokens as well. So the entire relationship is established by the dependency parser. So you can see the pause tags as well, part of speech tags as well over here, and the arrows, the edges basically display the dependency parser labels as well. So prep, you can see ADV mode, and we have nominal subject over here. Then we have compound over here. So you can visualize this sort of relationship as well. Now this is all happening for one sentence. We can perform this for all the titles or all the headlines that we have. So this is just for our basic understanding. Now we don't need to keep performing this for every title or every headline. I just showed you how everything is working behind the scenes. Now we can start doing the processing for all the titles, all the information. So now comes the main part, which is named entity recognition. So here I have processed this first line. All right. Now I need to extract all the main entities out of this one headline. So I can simply do ENT instead of dependencies. So here the style was DEP, and here I've changed it to ENT. Now if I run this, so here you go. It has basically labeled all of these main entities. So this is where named entity recognition, NER process has been run. So the pipeline, as you have seen over here, is the pipeline is designed to give you the NER, the main entities, and that's what it returns. So for one sentence that we passed over here, this processed headline, HDFC Bank is an organization label, and then 5000 is an cardinal label. So it adds those labels to different entities in one sentence or in one processed headline or title. So you can pass like a bunch of sentences, a bunch of paragraphs to this particular render function from the Displacy class, and then you can basically look at these sort of tagged labels. So this is the amazing part of using Displacy library. It has become very, very accessible, very useful, and you can look at a bunch of different features right there in your Google Collaboratory notebook. Now, what we need to do is extract all of this information for all of our headlines. So spacey.displacy.render processed headline. I need to capture all the organizations. So here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create companies, an empty list. I want to capture all the list of the companies. And then let's do one thing. Let's move straight to our Jupyter notebook. And here I'm going to create a new folder. So open folder. And this is my new folder, newsfeed. All right. I'm inside my packet. I'll create a new application, app.py. All right. And here I'll import all of the required packages. Now I'm going to start off with my application building. I have kind of got an understanding of how everything is working, and I'll keep moving back to Colab as and when I would need it. So I've imported all the packages, and other thing that I need to import is Streamlit. So Streamlit is the package that we are going to use to create our application. You can head over to Streamlit to look at the documentation. It's pretty straightforward, very easy to get started with the application development. Streamlit is an open source app framework. It's a breeze to get started with. And you can see you first need to install it in your environment. I'm right here. So I have this NLP_env. So this is my virtual environment that's currently running, and it has Streamlit installed. So you need to simply run this command pip install Streamlit, hit enter, and you can see requirement already satisfied because I have it installed already. So import Streamlit as st, and now I can start writing or developing my application. So I can first write st.title and add a title to our application, which is, let's say, buzzing stocks, and I'll add a zap after that. So here, just save it. This is just our simple application. I haven't done anything right now. Now, in order to run this application, I'll show you how easy it is. All you got to do is run this command, streamlit run app.py. And if you want to first check what all files I have in this folder, I just have this app.py that I've just created. So it contains just one file. And now if I run Streamlit, run app.py, hit enter, and I've come to my web browser, it opens up automatically. You can see buzzing stocks, and then this is my zap. It looks cool. My application by web app has started running. Now I can work on processing my data. So let's quickly do that. So now you already know how to build this web application, and it's very easy to deploy as well. Once it is deployed, you can also share it with your friends, colleagues, and with the entire world. So first of all, I'll create this function. Now whenever you are writing scripts, it's always a good habit to write your code in a functional manner. So every function should do its job, and there should be like one purpose for one function. So this function is going to extract text from my RSS feed. All right, add some documentation. This will parse the XML and extract the headings from the links in a Python list. That's it. Now I'll create headings, which is an empty list, and inside this list I'll keep appending all of the titles from different links. So first of all, I'll create a request. R is equal to requests.get, and to this I'll pass the same link that we were using inside our Colab. Copy this from here, paste it over here, and once you have got it, the next step is to create a soup. So soup is beautiful soup, and you need to pass r.content to this beautiful soup class, and features is equal to lxml. So you'll have to install this package as well, lxml. I think in some of the machines it gives error. When I was trying it out on my local machine earlier, it was giving me some error for XML, and then I read it somewhere online and it said that LXML would work as well, and it did. So we'll run it again and we'll see if it gives me some errors or not. Then I will capture the headings, or you can say the headlines. So soup dot find all, and I'll capture the titles from here, the title tags, and this will return the headings. So that's all this function does. Now, if you want to add a feature where basically you pass the RSS feed link, so in your application, so let's say this is your application and you want to have an input bar over here where you can pass any link and it should extract the information, just making it more generic. So you can ask for an RSS link and then you will send a request as well. Now what you can do is you can do this for economic times. This is your, let's say, the default link, and after this you can also run another one for the link that the user has provided. So this is going to be your default link, R1, and after this I'll do R2 for the link that the user has provided. So requests dot get, and we will simply use the RSS link that the user has provided. So the request would go to this link. So this would become soup1 and this would become soup2. So let's just copy this, paste this. This will R1, this will be R1 content and this will be R2 content. All right, soup1, soup2 are ready. And similarly, I would have headings 1 over here and headings 2 from my other soup, which is soup 2. So all the headings are here, and then lastly I would have my final headings, which will be the sum of both of these headings, both of these lists, headings 1 plus headings 2. So this is it. This is our final extract text from RSS function. Now what I need to do next is extract all the stock information. So here, if I come back to my collaboratory notebook, and if you look at, let's quickly install pip install Y finance library. So this doesn't come already, pre-installed in Collab, so you'll have to install it first. And now from all of these extracted entities, I would first need HDFC Bank extracted, and I'll show you how I can extract this entity from this processed headline. But before that, we need the knowledge base. So the knowledge base is basically our Nifty 500 companies. And if you go to the NSE India website, so here I have downloaded this list of Nifty 500 stocks. So here I will download it again. So this Nifty 500 list.csv is right over here. Let's quickly upload it into a Google Collaboratory notebook from google.colab, import files, and files.upload. So if you run this, you can upload any sort of file. So here, let's go to downloads. So we are uploading this in Nifty 500 list.csv, and once it is loaded, you can read it. Stocksdf pd.read_csv to read my CSV into a data frame, and then your file, which is this right over here, copy the path, and that's it. If you look at this stocks_df.head, now it's a list of 500 companies, and it has company name, it has industry, symbol, series, and ISIN code. Now, why this is important? Because from the name of the company, here it is HDFC Bank, we actually need the company's symbol. This is important. If we do not know the symbol, we won't be able to access the data. So from the Yahoo Finance library, if you check Y Finance library, yeah, this is the one, Pi. And here you need to pass the label, or you can say the stock symbol, to get the information of that particular stock. So if I come over here and let's say stock underscore info, and I have to first import it. So import Y Finance as YF, and after that I'll add YF dot ticker, and here I need to pass the name of this symbol. So if I, let's say, copy this 3M India and stock underscore info, let's see what I get inside this info. So here you go, yfinance.ticker object 3M India. And if, let's say, if I go back over here, if you want to get the info, you can use this .info parameter or attribute, stock info.info. And let's run this again. So you see, it has not given us anything. And if I do, instead of 3M India, if I do APPL, which is the stock symbol for Apple US, so here it'll give us a lot of information about the Apple stock. You can see here I have got a bunch of different type of information, including the circulating supply, the current, a lot of information is none over here. I'm not sure why, but let's check for another symbol for Microsoft. All right, here, okay, Microsoft has quite a lot of information. I must be doing something wrong there with Apple. Okay, so you can see you have got currency, country, current price. This is the current price of Microsoft stock, which is $296.43 US. But in case of Indian stocks, what you need to do is you'll need to pass .ns as well ahead of, which is basically suffixed after the stock symbol. So if you do this .ns, and if you run this now, here you'll see you've got the information for that particular stock, for which earlier it was showing you log URL empty. There were just only 2 properties. So it's very important that you add this .ns, which is basically for National Stock Exchange, NSE. So this is for Indian stocks. You need to add this .ns after your stock symbol, and once you have suffixed it, you will get all of the information for your Indian stock. So now, after capturing these organizations, we'll first link it with the external database, which is the Nifty 500 companies. We'll match the name of the company that we have got from the text, from the headline, using this company name column. And corresponding to this company name, we will capture the symbol. After capturing the symbol, we will send it to the Yahoo Finance, this ticker class or ticker function. And from there, we will extract all of this information. We'll store it inside a dictionary, and then we'll convert it into a data frame, which will be displayed in our application. So that is the goal. Now let's get down to writing a function about it. So stock underscore info. So here I'll pass this function all of the headings. Now these headings would be this list that we have created with all the title tags as we have seen above. So this list of headlines will be passed to this function. Now what this function is going to do is, let's quickly write down. Okay, it goes over each heading to find out the entities and link it with the Nifty 500 companies data and extract the market data using Yahoo Finance tickers function. All right, and then lastly, it will return data frame containing all the buzzing stocks and their stats. All right, so this is what the stock underscore info function is going to do. So let's quickly write it down. So first of all, stocks underscore df. So I need to read pd.read underscore csv. So here I'll create a folder which is data. Inside this data folder, I need to basically move my Nifty 500 list. So this is my Nifty 500 list. I go to the folder. This is my folder, project courses, news feed. All right, this is my data folder. I'll paste it over here. So if we come back to this data folder, I have in underscore Nifty 500 list right over here. Okay, now /data, and then inside this data folder, I have in underscore Nifty 500 list.csv. So my stocks underscore df is ready. Now I need to capture each of these titles from my headings. So for title, in headings, so pass the heading, the text of the titles to my NLP library. All right, so we haven't defined the NLP model just yet. So for that, what we'll do is we'll write over here itself. So NLP is basically Spacy dot load, and I'll pass English, core, web, small. This is the model that we are using, the pre-trained language model. And here I'm creating a doc. This is the processed doc, and this will basically contain title.txt. So I'll pass the heading, the exact heading between the title tags to this NLP pipeline. And once I get this process doc, I'll basically start processing the token. So for token in doc.ents. So I'll basically capture all the entities right from here. And from this one, now I can start processing each of these tokens. So there comes the next part, which is checking if the entity that this doc.ents has given is actually present inside my knowledge base or my stocks underscore data frame or not. So for that, if stocks underscore df, the name of the column is company name, this .str.contains, if it contains token.text. So the token.text is basically, as I've shown you over here, token.text is HDFC, the actual text. Okay. And if you are not understanding what is inside my ENTS, doc.ents, so here for ENT in processed underscore hline dot ents print entity. So here you go. There are two entities, HDFC Bank and 5000, and we can also get their label, ent.label underscore. So this will give you the label. So here HDFC Bank has a label of ORG, which is organization, and 5000 is cardinal, as we saw over here as well in this visual version of this same process. All right, so the next step, again, I need to check. Now coming back, I need to check if this text is available inside my company name column, and I'll do sum as well. So it'll give you basically a true false. So if the result is 1, if any one of the field matches, if I have the name, then basically I'll move inside. So symbol is equal to stocks underscore df, and here again I'll pass the same condition. So basically I'm actually capturing the row here. So this is the filtering process. So I need to capture the entire row. Sum is not required here. So company name .str.contains. So I'm basically filtering the row where the name of the company matches with the entity. So this token, instead of token, you can say ENT. So you can change the name ENT.text and ENT.text over here as well. And now this part, I need to capture the symbol. So this will be the data frame row. This will give you the data frame row, and inside the data frame we have the symbol column. So I need to capture the symbol column, and from the symbol column I need to capture the value. So values 0, I need to capture the first value. All right, this I will have, let's break it down into 2 lines. Okay, and after this, once I have it over here, now the next thing that I need to do is capture the organization name. So org name is basically stocks. Now the organization name is going to come from this company name column. So stocks underscore df. Again, I'll have to write it like this. Filter the row again. And yeah, instead of symbol here, you are just capturing the company name. And here as well, you need to get the values, which is 0. Okay, the first value basically. And then now I need to create a dictionary here before creating a data frame. So here you can see there is a bunch of information that is provided by this Yahoo Finance ticker function. So here I will simply create a token underscore dict, or you can say stock dict, stock info underscore dict, and this dictionary will contain a bunch of information. First one is organization name, and it'll have a list corresponding to it. The second one is the symbol, that'll also have the list. Then we would have current price from the Yahoo Finance library, and then we have day high. That basically, day high is the highest price that the stock has achieved during that day. After that, we would have day low, again a list. Then we can have forward PE. This is again a list. Then I would have dividend. This will have an empty list again. And I think that's enough. If you need more information, if you need anything in specific, you can add it to this particular dictionary. All right. And now I can start adding the information to this dictionary. So stock underscore info underscore dict. I'll first add the organization name that I've just captured. So here, all of these are lists. So you can simply use the append function. You'll have to keep appending. If you will write it, basically you'll, at the end of all of your loops, you will only have one row. So you'll keep appending everything for each stock symbol for each company. So dot append, and here you just add org name, and similarly you keep adding all of the information. So here I would do stock underscore info underscore dict, and then I'll add symbol after that, dot append, and symbol is going to come from this symbol variable that I've just captured. Okay, and similarly let's just copy this and paste it over here for all the others as well. After that symbol, I have current price. Okay, before this, one thing that I forgot was I did not send it to Yahoo Finance, so we forgot that. So let's add that. Sending Y Finance the symbol for stock info. We need to capture the information from Yahoo Finance. So that would be basically stock underscore info and YF dot ticker. Make sure you have imported Yahoo Finance. So let's add it over here at the top. Import Y Finance as YF. Make sure you have it installed inside your environment. I have it already installed. YF dot ticker, and here inside this YF dot ticker, just pass your symbol plus dot ns. make sure that you suffix this .ns after this symbol string. Once you have done that, you can also cascade this info function. So this will actually return an information dictionary that we just saw. So this dictionary would be stored inside this stock_info. And from this stock_info, we can capture all of this information: current price, day high. Let's add day high. This is day low. And where will current price come from? From this stock_info variable. All right. So this is the output of Yahoo Finance library. So inside this, you can pass the current price. Make sure the name of the key is correct. So here, current price, we check. Current price is C lowercase and P uppercase. That's great. And then after this, we can simply add stock_info. And here, instead of current price, we need day high. Here as well. Here we would need day low. And similarly, copy and paste it. And now we need forward PE. Forward PE. Okay. Command C, Command V, and lastly we need dividend yield. If there is any property is missing inside the Yahoo Finance information, like from the library itself, then it would add NA itself. So here, just add dividend yield, and we've already added this entire block inside try. So if there is any exception, it won't stop. It would keep on running. So not all of the companies would be matched. Some of the companies would be missed by this algorithm, but we are not actually worried about getting all the information. We only need the right information, so it's okay. I'm just letting it go at the moment. But yeah, if you want all of the information, then you'll have to add some other processing as well. Now, if the name is not matched basically from the entity, then you can basically move on to the next one. That's what I'm doing over here. And outside this try block, I would use except pass. If there is any error, just move on to the next. I don't want to raise any exception over here. And once the dictionary is ready, now I can generate my output dict, or sorry, the output data frame, which is pd.data frame, and pass the stock_info dict. This dictionary will be ready by now with all of the information of all the stocks. So yeah, after all of the headings are processed, all the entities are looked at, again you can add another condition where you are only looking at entities which have a label of an organization, because we are only interested in those entities which have a label of organization. So we don't basically need this cardinal values or any other label that's there. So we would only need the organization label. So you can also add that condition. That will basically filter out all the information. You won't have to run it for all the entities. For now, I'm just moving on to the next step. So here, return output_data frame. Okay, this is done. Now I can start adding some elements to my Streamlit application. So first of all, I can add an input field to pass the RSS link. All right, so this will basically capture the user input, and this is basically st.text_input. This is the field that you can use. There are different other widgets, different features that you can use from the Streamlit documentation. I have found it very useful. So we can basically give a message to our user, add your RSS link here. And once that is done, you can also provide a default link. If the user doesn't provide, we can basically add this money control buzzing stocks link. So this is the default value that will be there. Then we get the financial headlines. So call the function fin underscore headings, and we will basically call our extract text from RSS, and here we will pass this user input. So I'll pass this user input to this extract text from RSS function. I've got the financial headings now. Now these headings would go into my function stock underscore info. So here I will output the financial info. So output deck, or sorry, the output data frame I will capture from here, stock underscore info function. So there's a lot of stock info. So let's rename it to generate stock info. That's the name of our function now. Okay. So here as well, generate underscore stock underscore info. And to this, we will pass the financial headings that we have just generated. And once that is done, now there will be some rows that will be duplicate. So there'll be some companies that will appear again and again. So we want to drop all the duplicates. So drop underscore duplicates. Again, there's a lot of room for optimization over here. You could have removed it somewhere before. Those kind of things could basically take place. So that's okay. You can work on optimization once you have the application ready. So don't worry about the optimization or efficient code just yet. Now st, I will write this data frame to my application. So for that, the function is st data frame. It's all lowercase, and you will write the data frame that you have just generated. And after this, if you want, let's say, if you want to display all the headings as well, you can do that as well with, all right, display the headlines as well. Now this can be on the user, so you can use an expander. So if you look at Streamlit expander, so all right, this is, I think this is the reference, Streamlit expander. Let me check the docs here. Yeah, Streamlit expander. So this is how it's going to work. So we can basically, user can basically click and it'll expand, it'll display all of the information. So with st.expander, and if you look over here, you can add any message for the user. Let's say expand for financial stocks news. So this message will be displayed. And after that, for each head in let's say fin underscore headings, you can st.markdown. You can print it inside a list. So that'll be basically star space and then add the head. You can say the heading. So star, so this is, I'm writing markdown, so star will actually add a bullet point over here. So that's it. I'll save this entire script. Now I need to go back to this application right over here. All I need to do is refresh it. Okay, there's one error, unmatched parenthesis. Okay, it has shown me the error right away. So which line is it? Okay, day low. Okay. So there's one extra parenthesis. Okay, I think this should be fine now. Save it, come back, refresh your application. So here you see the input bar is now ready. Add your RSS link here. This is the default link that will be there. And if you want to change it, you can pick any RSS feed link. And now if you look over here, the processing is happening. We can add a progress bar or something like that. But for now, you can basically, you can say if you want, you can add some print information just to check everything is going as expected. So here you can pass print symbol. So save it, you refresh the app again, and if you go to your terminal, so which is where your app is running, this should actually show you what's happening inside your app. Okay, it is giving us this empty data frame as of now, and oh, the financial information, the stocks are not coming up, so there's something wrong with the financial heading. Let's print fin underscore headings as well. Okay, what's going wrong? Let's quickly check. Save it, and let's end this again. I'm going to run this app again. Streamlit dot run app dot py. Come back over here. Close this one. It will open up another one. Okay. We have got the headings. Okay, this is fine. We've passed this financial headings to generate stock info. All right, so instead of this info parenthesis, it's just an attribute, and I was trying to call it. That's why it was giving me this error and we were not getting anything inside data frame. Since it is inside this try and except block, it would simply pass and nothing would show up in your data frame. That's why I had to debug it by printing some of these statements, and this is the line where everything was going wrong. And now I have run it again, and you can see this is how our application is currently looking. It is computing all of those stocks have been, screen entities are now being looked up on Yahoo Finance. Once that is done, every information, organization symbol, current price, day high, everything would be stored inside the dictionary. Data frame would be created, and once the data frame is created, we would drop the duplicates and then write the data frame onto our application using the Streamlit data frame function. So it's running over here, as you can see in the terminal. These are all the stock symbols. We would add .ns ahead of it, and then we'll look it up on the ticker function, the Yahoo Finance library, and from there we'll get all the market price data. Awesome. We have the data frame ready with us. You can see all of the information is here. Organization, SBI card and payments. Symbol is SBI card, current price, day high. Wow, this is interesting. All right, we have got all the information that we need. So it has screened 18 companies for us from all the information, all the headlines that we have on these two links, Economic Times and Money Control. And yeah, if we come back to our application, so here this is the expander. If you'll expand it, you will get all the headlines right there in your news feed from those two RSS feed links that you have added. Again, if you need more information, you can simply just change this link and it will work for you. All right, you can always shut down this expander, change the link if you want to, extract data or extract headlines from some other economic or market newsfeed or any trending newsfeed that you have. You can also develop this for tweets. So you can capture information from tweets, pass along, process those tweets and capture entities and then look them up on Yahoo Finance and have it on your custom newsfeed. Again, this was just one example. This was pretty basic one as well. You can use it in any of the domains, be it healthcare, drug discovery, finding out different sort of important information from any document that you upload. So that could be one other very good use case. You upload a document and you get all the required information that you need. That's again great information. So named entity recognition has a lot of different types of applications across different domains. Do try out, do go wild. So that was it. So I have added all the links in the description below, the GitHub library, the blog post that I wrote on this, if you want to, go through the written format. So all of the links are provided below.
All right, so this should have been fun. Actually, this was fun for me while building it. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it useful. Do take inspiration from this and try to build something more complex. Try to take this particular project a step ahead. Do share your work with me in the comments below. Do reach out to me on all sorts of platforms. I'm on Twitter, LinkedIn, and yeah, do comment down below if you have any queries, if you have worked on something, and if you have applied it in some other domain. I would be very willing to look at your ideas. So please give this video a thumbs up if you found it useful. Subscribe to the channel, that'll help us grow. That basically works as motivation for me to keep creating such tutorials. And yeah, share it with your fellow friends, your batchmates, your colleagues, and yeah, anyone, or maybe share it on your social media accounts. Help everyone get to these sort of tutorials. So yeah, I'll catch you in the next one in another tutorial video. Until then, keep learning data science with Harshit.